Morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're getting everything set up real quick.
Sorry, I'm a little early.
You're okay. Early is far better than late.
So are you Elise?
I am.
Oh, hey. How are you?
I'm good. You're our guest speaker, right? I'm not daydreaming.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I was getting ready to check my emails to check the name. Let me remind Martin because he probably forgot.
Okay.
Okay, we are live on Facebook and recording on here. Perfect.
Morning.
Hello, everybody. Morning, Dave. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
I do like them for golf.
Morning, Martin.
Darken up and they're coming out. Hello.
I said hi.
Hi. Hello.
Katie is our guest speaker.
Well, hello, Katie.
Hey, Martin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I did not know we had a guest speaker.
Yes, you did.
I did know we had a guest speaker. Okay. All right. I did. Apparently, Elise sent me an email.
She asked a few weeks ago, told you about it.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So, what are we talking about?
Well, I'm with Cutco,
Okay.
and I met Susie Ellis at a CE or CE class. She had me come in, and so yeah, I'll talk about client retention and retaining your clients through closing gifts. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I actually brought a Cutco product today to talk about a little bit too, ironically. So, we're small.
There you
world.
go. You could do my thing for me, Martin.
All right, well, go ahead. So let's talk a little bit about it.
Oh, you ready to go now?
Yeah, absolutely. Jump on it.
Well, thanks for having me, Elise and Martin. I like you, even though you didn't know I was coming. It's all good. I've actually been. Oh, my green screen is I'm showing you guys my Zoom stuff. So I've been with Cutco. This is my 20th year, and I've actually worked with real estate agents for 13 years. So does anyone want to raise their hands if they've given a Cutco knife or heard of it or have it in their kitchen? Cool. So we basically help you with client retention. Does anyone want to guess the answer to this? Okay, 80% of people say they would use their realtor again. But when you survey them a year and a half later, somebody throw out a guess. What percentage of people can name their realtor?
12%.
You got it on the first try.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
12% of people can name their realtor. So that's what we're here to do is we're here to help you with all the Keller Williams programs that you guys do, the 33 touch, the calls, the 10 calls a day, all these things. This is another way to do it. So I know most of you give some kind of gift, right? Baskets, gift cards, dinners out, champagne, bottles of wine. And I didn't come here on the Zoom today to tell you your clients don't like those gifts because everyone likes a gift, right? Who doesn't like a gift? It's free. The main challenge we found with most of your gifts is that they're consumable. The wine gets drank in a night, the food gets eaten, the plant dies, or it gets put away on a shelf and collects dust. So we found a way to turn your closing gift into a long-term branding tool. So Martin, you can hold yours up too, but I brought a couple of samples here. So we take Cutco knives. If you haven't heard of Cutco, we're like the Snap-on tools of cutlery, or the Rolex or the Tiffany of knives with a Snap-on tools guarantee. So Cutco's been around since 1949. It's made in the United States. Everything's guaranteed forever. So if you like ran your lawnmower over a knife or something weird, I don't know what you guys do, you could actually get it replaced for free. So we actually take Cutco knives and we engrave it with your logo, name, and number. Or some agents do a really awesome tagline like Susie had done, with gratitude, your realtor for life, or you can personalize it to the client. So getting something like this engraved does a couple things for you. Who wants to guess the #1 most used room in the house, especially in 2020?
Kitchen.
Yes. Thank you, Elise. Somebody always says like the bedroom or like the bathroom or something, whatever. So the kitchen's the natural gathering place. So not only does your client see and use these every day, but it is a natural conversation piece when they're hanging out with friends and family. So the next thing, does anyone know what the IRS allows you to write off on your taxes as a closing gift? What's the legal tax deduction on a gift?
I'm getting a $25 guess from the audience.
That's right. You guys are like gold star here. I knew you were the sharpest group in town. Oh, haha. So $25 is all you can write off on your taxes as a gift. Most agents spend, 50, 100, 150, sometimes more. And what they're doing is they're either writing off the whole amount and hoping they don't get audited. That's none of you. Or they're not taking the full deduction that they deserve. So since Cutco's products are branded, it is legally considered advertising. So you give them as closing gifts, but you can write them off as advertising because they have your brand on it, just like you would do notepads and billboards and pens and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing I'll tell you is, when you read Keller Williams books, whether it's Shift or Real Estate Investor, Millionaire, Real Estate Agent, it's all about systems, right? That's what you guys are here to do, is create great systems so that you can use real estate to build the perfect lifestyle for yourself. So we have an easy system for you. Over the years, the last 13 years, I run into so many agents that are like, this is so awesome. I love Cutco, but the main reason I love using this is that I can just go down to the basement, go to my office, grab the gift, go. There's no more time spent like running around town before closing or figuring out what restaurant's still open or Home Depot or all this stuff. We just have a small supply of gifts to keep on hand. So when you have a closing, you can grab, you go, and you're done. One thing we implemented this year was drop shipping. We know a lot of agents aren't going to closings these days, or they might go back, whatever. We can actually ship them direct to your clients now too. Our gifts range anywhere from $50 to $250. Martin's got the pizza cutter. That's been really popular this year. What I'm gonna do, throw this in the chat here. So I told Elise I normally would bring like food and treats and all this stuff, but I actually took my budget for that and I put it into I'm gonna do a drawing for you guys. So here's what I'm doing. I am actually gonna do a drawing for 2 Cutco knives. So this is a Cutco Santoku knife. It's $147 value. I'm gonna throw this in the chat. What I need you guys to do to get in the drawing is grab your cell phones, pull up your texting app or whatever, and type in my phone number. I put it in the chat, but I'll hold it up too. So type in your chat 314-761-5669. If you have any interest in our program, you want pricing, you have a closing coming up, you need a gift for, you need sharpening, anything you want information on or pricing, text me your name, your email, and the word sharp. So name, email, the word sharp. If you have any interest, want more info, need a gift for something, need a holiday gift, your name, email, the word sharp.
Katie, can we get that phone
if you just want to be in the drawing, just go ahead and put your name and email when you text me. And I will actually, I know a couple of you will watch the recording later. So I'm going to do that drawing, I think later tonight, once everybody's kind of watched, and I can, I'll draw 2 knives. They're $147 value. So I'm giving away $300 in Cutco. Nice. The other thing is, I don't know if it went.
Can you get that number one more time?
What was that?
Can you read out that number one more time for the group?
Oh yeah.
They can't see it.
314 761 5669.
5669. Text your name, email, and the word sharp, SHARP.
And I forgot, anyone who orders gifts this week, I'm actually going to buy you $100 in Cutco for your kitchen on your order.
Oh, nice.
So does anyone have any questions, or Martin, you want to do your plug, or what do you guys got for me?
Well, I actually brought mine for a different example, but I will say I use my pizza cutter frequently and it does work very well. It's also branded from Jamie Estes. So, you know, I have to see Jamie Estes's name every time I order a pizza, which is 2 to 3 times a month. So he gets 33 touches on me with just a pizza cutter.
He bought your brain cells, Martin. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me. I'm so excited to help you with your gifts and talk to you and connect. This is so fun.
Well, Katie, thank you for being here, and we appreciate you coming in this format. You know, obviously right now we have some people in person, socially distanced. We have Zoom. We even have Facebook Live because we're bringing it to different people. And so thank you for coming and finding a way to bring some value. We really appreciate the knives. Elise, that's for agents only. Staff can't enter, so sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I entered. Just so you know, I'll be licensed mid next month. So
Call us. So we're going to go ahead and call it. Okay. All right. You can enter that. So, all right. Well, listen, Katie, thank you so much for taking your time to be here today, guys. Text Katie your name, your email, the word sharp, win one of these knives. Look into it, you know, closing gifts, things like that. They can make a huge difference with client retention. And imagine if you built a business where you got to a point where the people you did business with just sent you other people to do business with, and it was just this rolling pile of leads and referrals. I'm telling you guys, that's when the money starts to get huge. So thank you so much, Katie, for coming and participating today.
You're welcome. Keep working hard. Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. So Cutco, right? Get your knives. If you haven't got your knives, you may be wondering why I brought the pizza cutter. I honestly, you can ask Elise. I'm not pretending. I did not remember we had the Cutco person coming to the sales meeting. So it was not for that. We'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to say good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate Tatum's here from Great American Title. She always comes to the meeting. So if you need title, go see Tatum. I closed my house with Great American Title. They took great care of me. So I give a personal referral to Tatum and the ladies at Great American Title. They'll take good care of you. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. We have some Facebook Live as well, I assume. Awesome. Hello, everybody out there in Facebook, guys. Did Tatum bring donuts? Jamie Estes wants to know. He is driving and still took the time to put that in the chat. Tatum did bring donuts. They were delicious. You should have been here. Yeah.
They were virtual.
Yeah.
We sent you one.
Yeah. We're Zooming you one right now. Smell that donut. Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for being here. If you're on Facebook Live, throw a comment in so we can see who's there. Communicate with chat. Elise is going to be watching the chat and communicating as well. So if you have questions, comments, feedback, please participate. This is going to be our last sales meeting of the year. So we want to talk a little bit about end of the year and mindset and kind of going into 2021. Obviously, we got the holidays coming up next couple of weeks. I know everybody is fixing to check out and kind of end their year, and that's okay. One of the things you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting resolutions, right? So when we're thinking about our resolutions next year, and I know we all are going to resolve to lose 30 pounds, right? So we'll go ahead and acquiesce that we're all going to do that. Everybody's, oh, dude, we just ate the last donut. Sorry, man. Yeah. Jamie's here and he's disappointed the donuts are gone. So, but when we're setting our business resolutions, you know, one of the things that you'll hear a lot of people talk about is let's keep it simple, right? You ever heard the keep it simple, stupid? And one of the reasons they say that is, hey, if you make a lot of really complicated resolutions, I mean, if I resolve to lose 30 pounds and grow my hair back and, you know, quit smoking and eat and exercise and do all these other things, I'm not going to get them all done. And I'm going to feel terrible about myself by January, right? And so you don't want to do that. So let's set ourselves up for success. And when it comes to our business, the resolution should be a simple question. When you're going to set your resolutions for next year, it needs to start and stop with, what's one thing that I could stop doing that no one would notice, right? Because it's all about time, whether it's about time to lead generate, whether about time for our family, whether about time just to decompress, that we have all these things that we fill our calendar up. And right now, I want you to take a minute. I want you to think about what's something that you do that you feel like, oh man, I have to do this because everyone would think this of me, or oh, I spend a lot of time on this because that's what I've always done in my real estate business. And yet, does it actually yield any results? Right? I mean, raise your hand if you can honestly say you don't have one thing in your day-to-day activities that waste a minute of your time. Jan, put your hand down. No, I'm kidding. Jan didn't raise her hand. No,
my hands are way down.
right? We all have those things. And you know, we have the Kool-Aid, we have the mantra, we have the, hey, stay on your 20%, Christoph, right? Hey, is that in your 20%, man? No, I'm staying on my 20%. What's my one thing, right? And I'm not demeaning those. Those are great things to have. But the truth is, while we all know that's what we should do, we're only human, right? And so we end up not staying on those 20%. So what's the one thing you could resolve to cut out of your life or your business next year that would give you back more time to lead generate, or more time with your family, you know, or more time to improve your business? Well, when's the last time you sat down and said, okay, I pay for XYZ service and I have to spend 3 hours a week updating my newsletter that I send out, and how many leads did that get me last year? Do you even know that, right? Maybe the one thing you need to stop doing next year is doing things without holding them accountable, right? How many of you could sit down and tell me what you use for your real estate business and what it gives you? Could you hold your activities accountable at all? Do you know your numbers, right? Have you sat down and said, well, man, you know, I had an interesting story that I heard. My first broker, when I started in residential real estate, I went to work for a guy who taught my real estate class, which happens to plenty of newbies, because I thought, ooh, I'll get access to all this information and education. I don't want to go to Keller. I honestly told people, I don't want to go to Keller Williams. They'll stick me on somebody's team in the back, and I don't want to deal with that, right? So I'm going to go here. And it was me and a broker at his kitchen table with another agent. Okay. Now, one of the things I learned from him was that when you go to work with someone who teaches the real estate licensing class and doesn't really work in the business, you really just learn. I mean, let me tell you right now, my first year, I would have been able to pass that class 45 times. However, I was Googling stuff to learn how to do real estate, right? I mean, guys, I could tell you horror stories about mistakes I made around earnest money, option money. I dodged more bullets than that guy in the Matrix movie that's doing this. I mean, it was crazy that I got out of it alive my first year. So he wasn't great at that. But one thing he was good at was the little anecdotes, right? And he had worked with an agent who for years sent a recipe of the month card out to her agents. Now, if she was sitting here in our sales meeting today, that agent would have told you, oh yeah, I lead generate. Absolutely. Christoph, I can't believe you don't touch your database. I send mine a recipe card every month. And this lady really thought she was doing something special with it. And she did it for years. And then one day she got a call from clients that she had serviced, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years prior. And they said, hey, Susie, I don't remember what her name is. We'll call her Susie, not Susie Ellis. They said, hey, Susie. They said, we just wanted to make sure that we gave you our new address so we could get our recipe of the month card. See, they had bought and sold a house with someone else, and they were just following up with her to make sure that the recipe card, you know, so often we're undertaking an activity that somebody told us was a good idea, or we thought but we haven't held it accountable to our results. You know, if you're buying leads off Zillow, great. Can you tell me what you spent and what you earned? What was the return on your investment? From a business standpoint, if you spent $1 and made $3, hey man, keep rocking it. I can't argue with results. But did you spend?
The huge thing is too how the market has shifted and changed, and people still look at those marketing ideas from 20 years ago.
Absolutely, Jan. So Jan here in the crowds, we have a massive crowd here in the audience. Jan in the front row, she said, you know, you got to remember the market changes. That's right. Consumer behavior changes. Consumer taste changes. How many of you real estate agents that have been in the business in the last 10 or 15 years, were you marketing on Facebook 15 years ago? No? Did you tweet a lot with your clients? How about some instant messenger? No? Right? Did you even have the MLS the way it is now? I mean, when did property books go away? Books went away in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, you know, everything about our business has changed, but yet we still cling to some things. So when you're setting resolutions next year, guys, for your business, one of the things has to be, what can I stop doing that no one would notice? You know, I think it makes such a difference that I get up and do X, Y, Z. And the truth is not, is it owning your lead gen time? You know, how we talked last Friday at the Jeff City office with that group, and we had a similar conversation, and it was around, do you stop your lead gen to call back and put out every fire? So what happens? You end up not lead genning, and that's okay because you get those deals closed. But then when you get those deals closed, there's nothing in the pipeline. You know, do you need to stop letting people get you off your schedule? You know, what is the one thing you can stop doing? Somebody volunteer me. What's something you waste your time with? We were sitting here having this conversation, something popped into somebody's mind. Give me an example of something that you absolutely know is not a productive use of your time.
Answering all your emails. Sometimes Facebook is not a productive use of my time.
Facebook? Okay. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So one of the things that we talk a lot about in like the command class is I love the Facebook posting option from command, mainly because when I make a post through that, I don't see the rest of the Facebook feed. So I can go post to Facebook because, man, if I decide right now, ooh, we had a really good idea. Christoph said something really funny in the sales meeting. I'm gonna post it to Facebook. I will get on there, and the first thing that happens when I open this up is, oh yeah, I notice I have a lot of notifications. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry, didn't mean to get distracted here by Facebook. Let me just, oh, look at that cute puppy. See, it's so easy. That happens, right? So is it using your technology to post to your social media so that you don't get sucked into the time vortex? Facebook knows that if it shows me the Uncle Phil Hustle and Pull Fresh Prince video, I will stop and watch it. If you haven't watched that one, Google it. It's the funniest thing ever. Uncle Phil hustles these guys. The butler pulls the pool cue out of his pants. It's hysterical. I can do the whole scene because I've watched it so many stupid times on Facebook. So what's that one thing that you could eliminate that would give you back time for your family, you know, for your spiritual life, for focusing on your wealth building, for focusing on your business? You know, when's the last time you did a wheel of life exercise? I had a coaching session with a team last Friday. We did a wheel of life exercise, and so many of them were surprised to find out that maybe this year we've had 7s and 8s in career and money. Because, hey, man, agents are, I mean, anybody working is selling real estate, right? I mean, everybody's setting records, right? Yet, oh, Denny. Hey, Denny, welcome aboard. Yet,
Martin, I accidentally muted you. I meant to accept Denny, and it changed to your name right as I clicked it. I swear it was on accident.
that's okay. That's all right, guys. You know what? In the absence of perfection, we'll take production. So we're not going to be perfect at this. The point is, what's that one thing you could eliminate? Somebody, you know, and it's interesting because I asked when we started, raise your hand if you don't waste time. And everybody rolled their eyes and laughed and said, oh God, yeah, no, I waste time. But when I asked for one specific thing, tree full of young owls. Quietly, until somebody finally said, well, I guess Facebook, right? Like, we all know we do it, but have we spent any time holding ourselves accountable to our time? Have we spent any time really analyzing? So I encourage you guys, as we move towards the end of the year and you're going to set these resolutions, this is why we want to have this conversation. Spend the next couple of weeks thinking, what's that one thing I could eliminate, right? What could I cut out? What would make all the difference if I got rid of it and nobody would notice, okay? Now, the flip side of that is the answer to why I'm holding this. And it is fortuitous that the Cutco lady was on today, Katie, because those stats ring very true, right? 80%. I mean, we hear it all the time. NAR statistics, that number, I don't know. I really didn't know it was 12, but I pulled it out because I thought I'd heard it somewhere. But we hear it all the time. 80, 90% of people say, oh, I loved working with Connie Wardenberg. And had she ever followed up with me, I'd have worked with her again. In fact, Connie was just sharing a story where she had a client follow up with her that she had helped years before and send her a referral for a pretty big deal. Okay. And I'm going to put Connie on the spot. Connie, had you been following up with those people?
I had not, and they're friends of my daughter's, close friends, godfather,
Mm-hmm.
and the wife, who I worked with her parents years ago, she forgot that I was in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted something over on the North Shore for her business boss. And She said, had Kurt not said, well, call Connie.
Yep.
She forgot.
So Connie says that, the client called her because someone else reminded her that Connie was in real estate. She had forgotten. So Connie, who's been in real estate for
Long time.
we won't do an actual age. Yet, even though she'd been in forever, they had forgot. I went into my best friend's
And
dad's
because
place.
they're good friends of my kids, and I see them, I think they know it.
And that's exactly where I was
But
going.
they don't.
Yes. She thought because they saw her, they would remember because they're friends with her kids. So they interact, and yet they still forgot she was in real estate. Guys, we think so often we're the biggest deal in our world. And I don't mean that we don't love our wives more, our kids more, but every human being, our outward experience, we're at the center of everything. So whatever we do has a huge impact on our lives. And by extension, we think that other people are really paying attention to what we're doing all the time, but they're not. They're busy down in theirs, right? So earlier she mentioned systems and models, and you'll hear us talk a lot about 33 touch and 36 touch and the what's it called? The 8x8, and we'll have the 36 touch, and we'll have all these different systems and models. And when we say that, when I said that right now, somebody thought, oh God, he's going to talk about lead gen. I don't want to cold call anybody. And I didn't say cold call, right? That's your brain talking to you. What I want to talk about is touches. How do you remember? How do you stay on? So we ask, what are you going to resolve for your business to stop doing? The flip side of that is, what is the thing you're going to resolve to start doing? What's the one thing you could do that would make all the difference in your business if you just did it? And I would argue that it's simple. Touch everybody in your database 33 times. If you touch everybody in your database 33 times, it will pay off. If you touch 33 times every name in your database, starting January 1st through the end of next year, you'll do more real estate business than you've ever done before. I will take the Pepsi challenge with it. I'll put my money where my mouth is. Call me. We'll make a wager. You got to show me that you touched them 33 times, but I'm telling you it'll work, because I know that it's all about, she even said it, it's all about capturing brain cells. And how do I know that? Because Jamie Estes stays in my head. I know. I'm getting apologies from the crowd. I understand. But you know why Jamie Estes stays in my head? Because I bought a house with Jamie Estes's group in January. And Jamie showed up at the closing, thanked me and my wife, and said, I appreciate you doing business with me. We brought you a little gift. And he gave me a pizza cutter, and it has the MREC appropriate brand, Keller Williams Lake of the Ozarks. And then it says Estes Group, which I assume was pre the old name, but has his number, has his website. And guys, I got to admit, when Jamie first brought it, I giggled at him a little bit and gave him a hard, oh, thanks the pizza cutter, man, right? I mean, gee, swell. Okay. Totally wrong. I have ordered pizza 2 to 3 times a month ever since I bought that house. And you know what? They never cut your pizza right. And when you try to pull it apart, it slaps half the cheese onto the cardboard and all this other, until I got a pizza cutter. And now I pull my pizza cutter out and I roll it. So 3 times a month, Jamie Estes touches his database with me without lifting a finger. I didn't say Jamie cold calls me. I didn't say Jamie has to even talk to me, which I'm sure he's grateful he doesn't have to talk to me, right? Jamie's sitting right in front of me, so I get to pick on him. But you can see what a simple thing this is. So instead of thinking about, oh man, no, you know what? Listen, I'm going to keep doing my newsletter. Oh no, have you thought about ways to get in front of your people that really last? Another great one would be, whatever realtor sent me a magnet that had that year's Cowboys schedule was going on my fridge. And I don't know about y'all, but I go to the fridge a lot. I mean, I'm talking fridge monster, right? So I see that realtor's name and face 10 times a day. I mean, how often are you walking past your refrigerator? Now up here, it wouldn't be the Cowboys schedule, it'd be the Chiefs schedule, but it's so simple, right? Baseball's going to come back next year. Are you getting your Royals and Cardinals schedules ready to mail out to your database? How would you like to touch those people 33 times with one thing? Then you can slap a smart plan, a couple of, quarterly calls. And before you know it, you're touching your database 50 times a year and you're barely lifting a finger. You're making 5-10 phone calls a day to people that you already like and have done business with. And you're just saying, hey, Connie, it's Martin. How you doing? Good. Oh, good. Yeah, I was just running down the list, checking in with people I hadn't talked to you in a while. You don't even have to give them a hard sell because you're staying in front of them. They'll remember you're in real estate. So when you're setting your resolutions for next year in your business, you've got to start with, what do I stop doing, right? You got to get rid of the time vacuums. That's got to be the one thing. What's one thing I can get rid of? The flip side is, what's the one thing you could start doing next year that would make all the difference in the world, right? Tiffany Servant's on here today. Tiffany is taking a bold step. She's moving into the finance committee chairperson role for the ALC next year because Tiffany's going to grow her business number knowledge, and this is a way to do into it. And Tiffany's running a big team. She's running a successful productivity program. She needs to grow in her understanding of business and knowledge next year, and diving in and knowing her numbers is going to help her hold her money accountable, hold her time accountable, her team. It's going to help her grow her business. That's the one thing Tiffany could do next year that's going to help her rocket to the next level. So what's your one thing, right? What is the one thing you could start doing that you know you should be? So somebody open up. Let's go back. Has anybody thought of anything they could stop doing?
I think there's a lot of time sucks that we have,
Okay.
whether it's walking around the market center or going on a cigarette break or get on Facebook or whatever it may be, it keeps us from accomplishing what we want to do in a day.
Absolutely.
I also think that we have to be careful because magnets and pizza cutters and newsletters, those are all really good to touch it. That doesn't replace reaching out.
No, absolutely.
And that kind of care call, like I always revolve around the lake, like how was your weekend, how was your summer, did you get to come down on the 4th of July? There's always a reason, like I can call them or even text them.
Mhm.
But I can tell you that I think if you look back over the last 20 years, people that have really succeeded in the business, that's the part that they succeeded at. Like, I don't know what else they did to get there, but the more they kept in contact with those people,
Mhm.
the better life that you have.
Sure.
And the better business that you have.
So Jamie's point was, and I couldn't agree more. That's why we said, throw them on a quarterly call plan, things like that. It's all about the personal connection to a point, right? And I couldn't agree with Jamie more. It's about the care calls. You can always find a way to, hey, how was Thanksgiving? How was Christmas? Through the shutdown, we just were reaching out and asking people, how you doing? Hey, did you survive the great toilet paper shortage of 2020? There's all sorts of reasons to call your people and communicate. What this will do is reinforce that, right? So you stay in front of them between those quarterly calls, but he's absolutely right. And his point was, in the last 20 years, if you watch the most successful agents, they're the ones that mastered connecting with their database. Would that be fair to paraphrase?
And a good example, I don't talk about it very much, but for the agents out of this area, about once a week as I'm driving down, I'll send a text about 40 of them.
Right.
Which one? Good morning. Good morning, have a great day.
Gotcha.
It's just a connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was talking about, it can be as simple as a text, right? You could be a bulk text. Are you using command? Do you have your Twilio set up? On the chat, I see that somebody's posted, don't forget the Take Command of Christmas challenge. Have you set it up yet? We got a couple weeks left. Big prizes coming, There are big prizes coming. Yeah, absolutely. So all you got to do is go in, get that holiday smart plan, and get your database set up on it. You could set it up where your technology will do 90% of the communication and touches for you, and your other 10 or 20% could be focused on what Jamie's talking about. Personal communications, phone calls, touches. So when you're thinking about your resolutions, what's that one thing you could start doing? So Jamie, what's one thing you could do next year that would make all the difference in your business? And mind you, Jamie's had a huge year. So we're not talking about somebody that, oh, Jamie, you really struggled this year. How are we going to improve you? But we're always trying to grow, right? So Jamie had a year this year. What's the one thing you could do next year that would make all the difference?
I'm going to prioritize my day and get that one thing done that will move my day.
I love it.
Every single day.
I love it. So his answer was prioritize his day, right? He's going to focus on his schedule. Is that the one thing you need to do? Do you need to own your schedule? Are you the best laid plans person, right? We all know the best laid plans are the ones that go wrong. So we lay out on Sunday evening. I think, okay, Monday I'm going to do X, Tuesday I'm going to do X, Wednesday I'm going to do Y. and I'm going to lead generate from 9 to 11. And then we show up Monday morning and the building's on fire and the whole calendar burns up with it and we don't own it. So it could be as simple as saying, no, look, I know what I have to do to succeed. You know, if Christoph knows that he has to make 15 calls because that gets him 3 appointments and he'll close one of those and he needs 4 listings a month because that's what he wants to have, the life he wants to live. Well, then he's got to have those 15 calls be the most important thing. You know, Jamie said, I'm going to prioritize my one thing that will move my business along. What is that? Right? What's the one thing that you could say, if I don't get anything else done that day, I have to do this every day? Lead generate, we all know that, right? We all know it's some form of lead generation for our business, but what is that? What's your strong suit? You know, if you are great at the phone calls, great. Maybe you're great at juggling 20 text messages. These days, people communicate in so many different mediums that I have to tell people, yeah, don't try to get me on Snapchat, man. If you need help with command, you're going to have to text me or call me. Don't Snapchat me. I had somebody Snapchat me a command problem. I was like, no, okay, stop it. I can't do 20 different forms of communication yet. What's your strength? Are you money on Instagram, right? Are you great? Are you great at open houses? Are you great at door knocking? Leslie Davis down in Jeff City, tons of volume, mega agent, kills it with her business. And Leslie was out door knocking last week when it was nice and bright and beautiful because that's her strong suit. You know, so what's that one thing that if you focused on that, it would make all the difference in your business next year? So Elise, we got anybody popping into the chat on Facebook? Who's on there? Let's get some comments from the group. What's one thing you could start doing next year? Who's having an aha or an epiphany?
One thing would be if you are busy, so busy that you can't keep up, get an assistant, get an admin.
Absolutely.
Don't do those things that don't make you any money, like looking out and talking.
Mm-hmm.
The talking has to be you, but setting up your Facebook stuff.
Yep.
Admin.
So Connie said, applying leverage, right? How many of you guys out there are running a business that you're at the point where you need to apply some leverage? And I'll tell you right now, guys, we see it all the time. Agents get to a certain level of busy and the first thing they want to do is get a buyer's agent. But that's not going to help you. That buyer's agent is going to need you to support them and staff them and admin them. And before you know it, you're a transaction coordinator for some other agent, right? We have the systems and models. If you want to build a team, talk to me, talk to Carolyn, talk to Tiffany. We'll help you grow with the models and systems. But so many of them don't want to apply that leverage. And we all know the fears, right? Ooh, I don't want to be responsible for somebody's paycheck. Oh man, I don't know. I don't really want to do that, you know, or, oh, I don't know. I'm such a control freak. I can't turn it over. Hey, I understand, but I can tell you, you know, your business is going to grow to the extent that you do. If you don't allow this person to come in, if you don't apply that leverage, you're not going to be able to succeed. At some point, you're going to reach critical mass. You can only keep up with so many deals, only keep lead generating. And eventually that's what'll burn you down and sink you in this business, is not applying that leverage. You know, it's like trying to swim across a lake with a couple tractor tires full of concrete tied to you. You know, you're really going to eventually start to sink. So maybe going into next year, it's applying leverage. You know, maybe you're at that point. Connie's so right. Do you struggle with command? Do you not like paperwork? Have you brought in some leverage? Guys, I would argue that most of the agents that are at that point, if they would just apply that leverage, they'd close 20 more transactions. Well, our average gross commission is about what, $7,000 here at the lake? 20 more transactions would be another $140,000 in gross commissions. You could pay that person well and still make another $100,000. Absolutely. You could hire a per transaction coordinator, right? We have people that do that. They do a flat rate. You hand them the stuff, they rock it out and help you get it home so that you can move on. You know, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the first quarter is almost over, right? Now everybody think about that for a second. Somebody's going, oh, Martin doesn't know what he's talking about. It's December. We're fixing to end the year, but not in the real estate business. What we do today is 90 days from today. So guys, if you think applying leverage is what's going to help next year's almost 3 months over. So it's time to get started on it today, right? It's fixing to be March 31st in the real estate world. Is there a March 31st? Does March have 30 days or 31? 31, 30? Okay. It's fixed to be the end of March, guys. We'll leave a little gray area on that. But the point is, you got to think that way, right? So maybe the one thing you need to start doing next year is maybe I need to start focusing on being 90 days out and being proactive. If you didn't lead generate today, you're not closing a deal 90 days from today. I can almost bet you money, right? We'll agree that sometimes deals walk in and jump in and buyers are hot. So yeah, you might stumble onto one, but really, if you want a purposeful, successful, growing business, which is what you guys have as businesses, then the trick is you got to start thinking forward, right? You got to think about, I read an interview with Jeff Bezos, one of the world's first quintillionaires or whatever he is now, the richest man in the solar system, basically. And he said he doesn't spend much time focused on the day-to-day operations of his business. He spends his time working on 1 to 3 year future business. Where are we going? Now, I'm not suggesting you guys won't need to work in your business, but you should have a mindset of, I'm 90 days ahead. What am I working on? So feedback, ahas, epiphanies, questions, comments. I'm looking at you, Coach.
Well, I liked what you were talking about, leverage. That is so true, and it's counter to what I thought for so many years, because I did it the wrong way. I hired a buyer's agent, hired another buyer's agent, but until I hired the right admin and transaction coordinator, I couldn't go to the next level. So when you go back and you follow MREA and follow what Gary Keller and what everybody else has done and proven to work, you're going to just keep. Mark King told me once when he was my coach, he says, oh, that's okay. I would come up with an idea. He says, that's okay. You're just being creative. That's okay. You're going to spend some money, but then you're going to come back and do what works. And he was right. As much as I hate to say that sometimes, but he was right. So now that I've got it in line with admin and getting the right person and the transaction coordination, really no agent should, after you've done 1, 2, or 3, you should have a transaction coordinator, because they're going to take over from your inspection on, and you should be saying next. That's what I teach in PC. You do the job, you get through the negotiations, you let your transaction coordinator take over for $300, and they get things signed, they get amendments made. If you're bogged down on doing that, you cannot go to the next deal. So that hangs you up. Everybody should have a transaction coordinator and an admin if you at some point, but the TC will free you up to say next. If you just put that one thing in place, that frees up the rest of that transaction for you to lead generate, which your job is to lead generate every day. And the other thing I would say that people need to do is get their calendar in order. Our team's working on that. Time blocking. Time block. Everybody needs to time block your lead generation, because that is your number one job. And if you have all these other items in place, you can go to the next thing.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more, Coach. So real quick, I see in the chat, that's actually from Elise, guys. That's not from Martin Richardson. I don't have any TC coordinators, so please don't call me about that. Elise does know some transaction coordinators. Email EliseJenkins@kw.com if you need more information. But it looks like I'm saying that and I don't know them, so don't call me. Coach,
Well, you pay for my discount.
don't mute yourself, Coach, because I'm going to pick on you a little bit. We talked a little about the one thing you really are going to do next year that's going to help you in your business is going to be focusing on learning numbers and getting better at the math of your business. What's something that you need to stop doing that no one will notice?
You know what I need to stop doing is I need a coordinator for the leads that come in to feed them to my team. Instead of me handling those, I need a lead. I need to pass that to my admin, train her so that she knows who to send that lead to, because I spend a great big deal of my day fielding leads that my people should be fielding. So that is really on my list to do this year. You hear that, Dave? That's coming at you, buddy. You're going to be getting leads. I kind of weed some of them out. So that's one of the things I need to take off my plate and pass to my people, train them to where they can handle those, because sometimes I feel bad sending those kind of leads to them, but you don't know until you make that conversation with them. So that would be one thing that I would do this year.
Boy, I love it. I love it, guys. That's a great one. Somebody else share one. What's something that you need to stop doing next year? Christoph, what's something you need to stop doing next year, man? Yeah. What's one thing that if you stop doing, no one would notice? I love it. I love it. So Christoph said he needs to stop getting off his calendar. Just like Tiffany said, time blocking, time management, right? That could be dual purpose, guys. What's one thing you need to stop doing? You need to stop letting it distract you. What's one thing you need to start doing? You need to stay focused on your calendar. You could Christoph just knocked out both of his resolutions with one thing. All right. High five, Christoph. There you go. Air five for safety, guys. So I love that, right? I'll tell you mine. One thing that I need to stop doing is I need to stop responding before 9 o'clock in the morning. All right. Because I need to start my day focused. I need to prepare for our 827 staff meeting. I need to prepare for the agent meetings I have to coach. I need to look at my pipeline. There's so many things I need to do in the mornings to start my day right. And, when you're a new TL, you feel a lot of pressure to not from anyone. You guys have all been great and wonderful and accepting. It's not like anyone pressured me from here, but you feel the pressure to just respond and just, oh man, just yeah, okay, whatever. To the point where I'll have people reach out at 5:30 or 6 in the morning and I'll start responding. And the reality is most of the time the agents are very gracious and they say, Martin, what? I didn't mean call me right now. A lot of times I'm like, yeah, let's get on it. And they're like, no, dude, I just didn't want to forget. So I'm sending you this. Don't call me till I've had my coffee, right there. I forget they're real estate agents. They're not really wanting to be up at 5 o'clock talking, right? I don't either. And yet, so I've got to start doing that. I've got to understand that it's okay. If somebody reaches out to me now, if the building's on fire, I'll respond. But otherwise, I'm going to take all that. I'm going to do my 827 staff meeting so I can make sure that we're on point, bringing value to our agents and supporting you guys at the highest possible level. And then from 9 to 9:30, I will return those calls. And then I'll start my lead gen from 9:30 to 11:30 instead of 9 to 11 so that I can follow up with my agents, know what's going on with everybody, help, direct who needs help to where. So that's one thing for me. I've got to stop doing that. Nobody would notice. Like I said, 90+% of them say, why did you call? No, I didn't mean to bother you right now. Like I've even got some of them that have figured out, Tiffany is really good. She'll send me one that says, don't respond till tomorrow, because she knows I'll keep texting and responding and trying to communicate. So for me, it's stopping in the morning and owning that. I'd like to have coffee with my wife. We have a nice little back porch, looks out over, you can see the lake down through the trees this time of year. I'd like to do that. Right? I'd like to watch the news in peace. I'd like to spend some quiet time thinking about my responsibilities, my agents, my market centers. What can I do to help everybody? I'd like to have my mornings for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore my phone, right? My plan right now is to not plug it in till the mornings. And then I'm going to plug it in when I get up and leave it on the stand by the bed. So it won't be there with me. And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure Carolyn, January 3rd, Carolyn will be blowing me up and it'll all fall apart, but that's mine. Right. And what's the one thing that I could start doing to make all the difference in the world? The one thing I could start doing is having more conversations with our agents, right? I try to have conversations with our agents, but I also have to spend a lot of time recruiting. What I've learned this year and what I've seen is I can help you grow your downline and I can help you recruit to your downline if I have conversations with you, right? Because we can talk about your business. We can talk about who you're working with. And the more conversations I have, we just recruited a capper for Terry Eschenbrenner. Way to go, Terry Eschenbrenner, right? We're teeing up these people. And so spending more time with my agents. And you know what I'd really like to do? I spent all year, I feel like, talking about business. I'd like to spend more time with our group on a more personal level, right? I'd like to not always just be the, hey, how's your business guy? Because I don't want to do that. So the one thing I can do to make all the difference in the world would be just focusing on our agents more and making sure we're pouring into our agents and their business and understanding where they're going on. The one thing I could stop doing that nobody would care about is stop returning calls at 6:30 in the morning. It's simple like that. And so those are the things that are very important for me next year, and as will happen. And because I have to work in 2 market centers, I feel like I should get 2 one things. But my other one thing is the same with the staff. I want to pour into the leadership team more. I want to help them set bigger goals for next year. I want my productivity coaches to grow. I want Amy and Elise and Jennifer and, Monica. No, I'm kidding. Monica too. We want them all to grow. I want to help them all, because every time they do something to help me, they help me grow all the time. I learned so much from you guys, whether it's Connie or the ALC or working with top agents or Deb down in Branson or the ALC down there. And Monica, good Lord. I'd have never survived this year without Monica to coach me and teach me the things I was supposed to do. The honest truth is, when I was a productivity coach, I paid 0 attention to what my TL's job was. So I didn't know much about it when I got here. So, that's my one thing. So I want to thank you guys for sharing. Does anyone else have one they'd like to share? One thing you could start doing or stop doing? And remember, this is being recorded for posterity. So we will be back next year to check on how we did. There will be a test at the end of 2021. Just kidding, Tiffany. Don't look so nervous. Yeah, right. I'm kidding. Totally. Elise, we got anybody in the Facebook? Did anybody at least comment and let us know where we're at? Did we get a like or a comment so we know who's there?
Angelina Dub said, I need to stop the distraction of chores at home. And they distract her from lead generation. She needs to keep a strict schedule.
I love it. I love it, Angelina. That's great. And guys, I don't know if you're hearing it, but I'm picking up a theme. There's a lot of us that when we started thinking about this, it sounds like we thought, if I actually stayed on point, I might get a lot more done in a lot less time and be able to go home and hang out with the kids, right? Or focus on my chores at home, like Angelina says. That's a great one, Angelina. Absolutely. Are you leaving? Do you carry your personal or your home stuff with you when you're trying to work? Do you need to learn to compartmentalize a little bit? I love that one. All right. Anyone else? One more epiphany, aha, or comment, and I will let you guys get on out of here because I know we have 10 o'clock contracts with Connie. Be there or be square. Elise, what's one thing you're going to quit doing next year?
I don't think there's anything because I pretty much work 13 hours a day and my life is work.
Okay, so tell me who just heard the one thing she needs to quit doing next year.
Working 13 hours.
Coach Tiffany. Oh, hold on. You're muted, Elise. You couldn't think of anything. Coach Tiffany, what does she need to stop doing?
She needs to stop working 13 hours a day and answering me on Sundays when I send her messages. They can wait till Monday. And she needs to leverage. She needs to get help, which she has done. She's training 2 people right now to duplicate herself. So she is working on her one thing, to duplicate herself.
Good. And you know what, Elise, we're picking on you a little. We're proud of you and how hard you work, and that's okay. But 13 hours a day is not sustainable, right? Remember, guys, Keller Williams, it's God, family, business, right? So if you're spending 13 hours a day on business, I'm not a math whiz, but I think that's like 11 hours left for God and family. And you got to sleep for 6 to 8 of those. So I think balance might be something. I agree. The one thing she needs to do is continue to apply leverage. So thank you for being honest about it, and good job working hard. We're proud of what you built and you do a great job, but I agree with Tiffany. I don't want you responding to me on Sunday. I don't want to ride you like a rented mule, So that's a great one. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for attending. Thank you for the wonderful year we have had, guys. Our franchise has set a record in every metric Keller Williams measures pretty much. And that is a tribute to you, the agents, and the hard work you have done. I do not get to take any credit for that because I'm not out there selling real estate. I'm not out there fighting the battles on the field like you guys are. So thank you so much. It has been a tremendous year for all of you and all of us. We're so grateful to have all of you as a part of our Keller Williams family. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Be watching for updates over the next couple of weeks. We'll be sending out calendars and plans for next year so you can start planning to hit 2021 in a big way. I want to encourage you to spend some time doing your resolutions, and just thank you all for being here. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Jamie Estes, Elise. David Hallmasser got called on, so we'll thank you, Dave. Anyone that participated, thank you, Marilyn Gilpin, in the comments. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and a wonderful rest of the year, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.